Hello, welcome back. I tried to film this video the other day, it did not work. I had builders in the house and they were just right there making noise. I tried to edit the video, it was like, nah, this is not going to work. And then now I have 1 hour until I have to leave the house for an interview. So I'm going to squeeze this video in. I've been on the phone to Apple support the whole day today because my computer is being annoying. And now I have to restore it for factory status. And then I have to redo the whole thing, drag files back onto it, redo my iTunes library. Like, thanks very much. I was not expecting all this hard work, and now I'm going to have to do that and spend the whole day tomorrow editing this video instead of doing it tonight. How you doing, honey baby? For a girl spending time alone can be pretty rough, yeah. So, low mood, depression, suicide. Let's talk about it today. You know, maybe somebody needs to hear me speak about this. Maybe 62 people that watch me or the 100 subscribers that I have, maybe somebody's going to be helped by my status, by my thoughts. Because I know I do. I get helped by other people on the internet all the time. And I'm like, rah, yes, she's going through what I go through. Yes, I can relate. Yes, 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 yes. And when we have loads of yeses around us and we like can correlate to other people, yeah, because I'm foreign, I don't know what these words mean, I just use them, and then sometimes I'm just like, I don't think that's the right word, but then I just still like use them. So correlate might not be the right word. Anyways, I want to inspire you maybe, or just to be like holding your hand, or just be like another human out here. Like, and I don't mind that it's gonna be a bit raw, this video, and I don't mind like total strangers like listening to this stuff because I don't know you. But if you know me and then you're like, raw, did she just say that? And it's like, yes, I'm going to say some raw things. So if you don't want to hear, and if you're embarrassed for me, then maybe you shouldn't watch this video. But hopefully you're not feeling that way and you can watch this video. So let's dive in. So I saw my therapist this week, and it was on a Monday, and she helped me. She was like loving me, and then she was giving me tips of how I could be surviving in this world as an autistic person, and how I could just like not suffer anymore. For the longest time I just thought that I could just deal with life, and then she was like, you don't have to, you know, you could actually just make yourself comfortable. And I'm like, oh, you're right. Anyway, so she's been like so good, and I just came from that meeting with her on Monday high as a kite without any drugs. I was like, I am loved. She's my mother. I listened to her. Anyway, she's really nice. So then I left there on a high, right? But then life happens. So then let's get into the conversation. So my therapist was being a mother to me. She just gave me all of the right things for my brain to hear, and I just felt like on top of the world. So, but then I have this problem where I go to sleep and then my brain starts to like question and analyze all of the happenings. That's one of my lyrics. That's why I had to say it like that. And as usual, like it's in a half sleep, half awake mode, it concludes that I'm just a brain and I'm nothing but a brain. Because how stupid are you, Nayna, to assume that you're more than this, because you keep waking up to this every day. So then like it concludes without my permission that I'm just a human with a brain, and then I have a little panic attack while I'm sleeping, like, oh my gosh, I'm just a human, and I have to like wake up and sit up to like gain control over myself. And then so at first it was just at night time that this was happening, and then now it's like starting to happen in the day, but without the panic attack. It's more of a notion, of a thought in my brain that I'm literally just the brain, because it's the most stupidest thing to me that I keep waking up in this brain with the same story. Nothing has changed. No God has appeared from the sky. No solutions has come, no dreams have come, no angel has appeared, nothing has changed. I'm just a brain. So why, Nayna, do you think that you're more than just a brain? Why do you think that this thing happens after you die, that you belong to this like beautiful loving thing, when really you keep asking them to help you, you keep asking them to talk to you, to just at least give me a dream and tell me what I am outside of this body, and yet every single day you wake up and nothing of the sort has happened. Nothing. So as you can imagine, that gets a bit confusing. So then I have this God complex meltdown, I think on a Tuesday, and then that's it. So then this time I think I just rolled, because I did say to my therapist on a Monday that it's just the thoughts are coming back again, where it's like, okay, this is so stupid, like come on life just proves to be like proving that it's nothing but this. Being a human, you live, you die, that's it. That's all that life ever proves to be. Every day when you wake up. But now that it's a Saturday, I do feel a little bit different. Because why? Because I've had a few successes yesterday. I had a job interview that was like really encouraging and really gave me hope. So now my brain feels a bit different and my body feels a bit different. But before that happened, which that's how I've been living life, like nothing good has been happening, it's just proving that life is just Anyway, so then I was saying to my therapist that I'm getting back into the cycle where I actually just don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be here. Like, why am I here? Like, I'm trying to talk to a God that doesn't exist. I'm trying to change the world that doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to change my life and nothing is changing. Like, what am I doing this for? And the only thing that I had left was my son, and I can see how he will benefit from me not being here. And I know if somebody else was sitting here, they'd be like, no, Nayna, he doesn't. He needs you. But I can conclude to myself how it would just be better if I wasn't here. So then I started the whole process again of just wanting to figure out how I can do this. How can I do this safely? Like, how can I die safely? And they call it suicide ideation, which I didn't know. I've never heard that word before, but I heard it this week. Suicide ideation. And to me, it's not ideation. Well, I don't know what that means. Does it mean that I'm obsessed with the idea? Because it's not obsessive with an idea. It's trying to understand how I can safely die. Anyway, so then I think by Wednesday, I was like, right. So I started to do some research, and as usual, there's like nothing available online. So disclaimer, let's get a little bit more raw in this part of the video. So I don't know how I was interrupted there, and it's funny because I was interrupted last time when I started going into this subject. So maybe I'm supposed to just keep it light. Basically, saying it in a light way, I don't know what it takes to die. I try to do my research and I never find the correct information, and then I get distracted because my body tells me to do things and I can't ignore my body. So my body says, can you please leave this computer desk? And I'll be like, okay. And if I don't leave it, it'll start to feel sick, it'll start to feel nauseous, so then I have to follow my body. So then I do, and then I end up taking a walk because I'm feeling nauseous or something, and then by the time I get back, I forget what I was researching on my computer. I quit everything, and then I'm back to square one. Like, I don't know how to die safely. I don't want to die in a wrong way in terms of becoming brain damaged or unsuccessfully dying. So I just want to die safely. And then I started to research the drugs that they use to put people down, and can I obtain that illegally? And so it's just become a thing in the midweek of this week where I just want to learn how to die safely, and I want to do it, and that's it. And I admitted to my therapist that I thought that all along it was my son that kept me alive, and really I think what keeps me alive is the fear of actually going through with it and doing it. And my therapist said that it makes sense because it's such a violent act. Such a violent act. And I don't know if it's violent, because that's exactly what I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be violent. I want it to be peaceful. Like, I want to go to sleep and then be peaceful. And I don't know if it's going to be like that. I don't know how it feels like to overdose or to die in a forceful way. And I'm so scared. It feels like I could panic. It feels like I'm going to panic. I don't feel like unless I'm completely like in tears crying, then I'm going to panic when I do it. And I think that that's what stops me, is the panic. I don't know how to cope with fear and panic apart from running away from it. So then at this point, I know that this is going to be my reaction, and I'm so scared of doing it. So then I'll start talking myself into not feeling scared then. So why are you going to be scared, Nayna? You don't need to be scared. You can just do it. You don't need to be scared. This life is so confusing because as I'm saying all of this, like, I could see and I could feel and know what it takes for this not to be people's realities, that I'm sitting here trying to talk myself into committing suicide, so then I don't need to live in this pain anymore, in this world anymore, and I now know what it takes to change it, and that this is what the meltdown is, because it's so confusing. Like, why do you allow this to take place? Why does life allow that to take place? And then you see a video, it's like, why is that happening? I saw a thing where this baby died, there was 3 of them in the belly, and one of them got caught in the umbilical cord and it suffocated to death, and then it was born a stillbirth. The baby was already dead, so then she only had 2 instead of 3. And I don't know how to make sense of that in life, because, like, shouldn't God be a bit more clever and careful or intrusive? Like, let me not do that. Let me untie that thing, or let me create a system where you can't die accidentally. And then if people think it's done on purpose, then, you know, okay, you're doing it on purpose then. You grew a whole baby to then kill it, suffocating it. So what did the baby have to go through to die that way? And you're saying it was done on purpose. Like, are you sick? Oops. Are you stupid? You're doing that on purpose? No. Because it hurts to suffocate, doesn't it? All of this hurts. Everything hurts, and it doesn't stop, and there's no intrusion. And actually the intrusion is very slow, which I'm realizing that. Anyways, I'm very confused. So then I get into this, I tumble down, bang on the floor. A lot, because I'm so confused, and I'm alone as well, which I want to be alone, but I'm understanding that alone is not a good place to be whatsoever when you are confused like this. Because I think what it takes, and what I'm learning, which I learn all the time, is that we need each other, and we need to be environments that thrive, that you give, and that you take and you thrive, and that you're wanted and that you want to be there. That's the environments that we need to be in. And the world that we have in place right now is not set up that way. You take a job, and then that job is where you're forced to spend most of your time, and then you have a family, and then these two are where you're forced to spend most of your existence throughout all of your life. So then if you don't get along with some people at work, you're forced to carry on, and to try to get out of that is like a whole process. It's not easy, like from one day to the other. So then you have to endure difficult process. And if your family breaks up at home, and if your family is not supportive, then again, that's even more difficult to escape. So then you're stuck in these places where you're not thriving, you're not supported, and you're not loved in the way that it takes for a human to be healthy and to not want to die. And there's different processes of feeling this way, and then the end one is that you just want to die, because this process obviously begins with a low mood. You're just like not happy, you don't really want to smile, you don't really want to see people, you don't really want to talk, you don't really want to interact, nothing really uplifts you, nothing really excites you, you're just in the low mood. So then if you stay in that place and you don't lift up that yourself from that place, then you end up in depression, where I guess that low mood is even more permanent and more worse, where you're probably just aware of how you feel and how the life is. And again, if you can't uplift yourself from that place, then you end up feeling like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. This is just stupid to exist this way. And I don't know why, but music seems to be something that really breaks the depression, or freezes it, or distracts it. Because like this mode that I get into, where like I have a proper meltdown, like it actually hurts. It hurts my body, it hurts my brain. My brain seems to like vibrate in this like poisonous way, and it hurts, right? And I try to drink some water to get rid of the pain, and it just doesn't go away. So then I take a walk, because that always seems to like help, like fresh air seems to help. So then I take a walk with my headphones on, with music, and then suddenly I hear the voice of the person singing, and I hear the instrument of the keyboard or the guitar, and you could hear emotion in it, you could hear feeling, and then that feeling reminds you, well, hold on, what is that feeling? Why do I have feeling? And then it brings back this hope of like, wait, maybe there is something more to life, because what is feeling? Why is that sound so passionate and so beautiful, and so much feeling inside of the music? So then it really does help me, and it breaks me from that pattern of agreeing that I am nothing more than just the brain, and that this is so stupid and that I need to die. It's like, no, maybe there's something more to life. Again, by the nighttime, obviously my brain's going to try to convince me that I'm stupid for concluding that, but yet the music keeps pulling me back into that direction, like, no, Nayna, come this way, life does have meaning, life does have purpose, there is something more. But yet the cycle keeps breathing. Day after day, you wake up, nothing has changed. Everything is the same, unless it isn't, right? And some people seem to have that lucky break, and if you're on the outside looking at other people having a lucky break, like thriving and being in environments where they thrive, you can see why some people start to hate on each other, because like, I don't know what it takes to be thriving. I don't know, I'm asking life, I'm doing all of the steps, yet I'm not thriving, and you are, and you just me off because you are, because why can't I thrive, and why are you thriving? So you can see why people hate on people, because you don't have the same access. And lucky you that you're thriving, that you're happy to wake up every day, and that you've got the perfect job. Lucky you, because I don't feel that way. And now that I've got this job interview, I'm starting to feel that way. But what about the next person? And what about if I don't get that job? And so then it's a bit of a game if you thrive or not, if you're able to thrive or not. And so then the coping mechanism for a lot of people is to use substances, because when you drink alcohol, guess what happens to your brain? Your brain gets distracted. Your feelings get distracted. It alleviates the pressure from the brain. The pain is not longer there, because your brain is actually now vibrating because of the alcohol. If you take painkillers, you're not in pain anymore. Your body's vibrating in this peaceful state. And you take drugs, you're not in pain anymore. You're in this different world where everything just seems different. So of course people use substances to self-soothe, which is a way to force yourself to be happy. And then if you force yourself to not have those substances, then you're forcing yourself to live in this hole. So it's really understandable why people have these addictions, because you're self-soothing yourself. So then you don't go into a route of suicide. And it would be good if we could teach this to children. It would be good if I knew and understood when I was younger, like what it takes to go on the road of suicide. Like if you do this, you're going to end up wanting to commit suicide. And to avoid that, this is what you have to do, and this is what it takes, and this is what it feels like in all of these steps. So let's get into that conversation of how to change this, how to help this, and let's conclude this video. So of course, the main answer to everything is we have to change the world. We have to be able to be in environments where we thrive. Because I was in a band setting the other day, and it was the most amazing thing. I went home on a high. I was like, oh, if I could do that every day, I don't think I'd want to die. If I was around people that was like, because they were like, I don't know, they were like impressing each other, and they were so talented. The drummer was talented, the guitarist, the pianist, like they're so talented, and they're all looking at each other like, oh, is that what you're doing? Is that what you're doing? And they want to be in that space, and it's just such a show off. It's such a show off of like how amazing I am and how amazing you are, and you think I'm amazing, I think you're amazing, and we're thriving together, we're showing off together, and you like what I do and I like what you do, and we're just like happy to be in this space. And I don't think life allows that to happen properly. And I mean the government life, I don't mean nature. I think nature minds its own business, to be honest, a lot of the time. It just like naturally, it's like a computer that just naturally works. And we have set up the community to not be that way, so you don't have a community. You're forced into specific communities at work or at home, and you don't have the chance and the freedom to build the community that you want, to thrive in the way that you want to thrive. So if the world was free and you could travel the whole world and until you find a place that you feel like you belong, that you want to be there, you want to stay, you want to give yourself, then it will be easier for people to thrive. And I feel like when you thrive, you don't want to die. And that's the whole point, isn't it? You thrive, you don't want to die. If you thrive, you're not in a low mood. If you thrive, you're not being depressed. And I feel like people, even the famous people and the rich people, the reason why I think they get into depressions is because they don't feel like they're thriving. Even though they are, even if they are thriving in other people's eyes, in their eyes, they're not thriving because that person said this and that person said that, and I feel like this and I feel like that, because you're not in the environment that you want to be in. You're not with the people you want to be with. Because the people you want to be with is going to build you up and tell you how amazing you are. They're never going to tell you how rubbish you are, that you're not good enough. And I bet famous people hear it all the time, or rich people hear it all the time, like, you're so rubbish at this, you're so rubbish at that. And that doesn't feel like thriving, because thriving means that you're making everybody happy. And this is what we don't teach in school. We teach about getting a job, but we don't teach about what it feels like to thrive, and the importance of finding a community that you can feel your best self at, and that they make you feel your best self. Because if you go into the comment section of Instagram, it's such a zoo of negative animals, and they all have like bad things to say to each other. And you got polar opposite opinions. You're right, you're wrong. People in the middle just like just want to roast everybody for even having an opinion. Polar opposite opinions. So there's just so much going on in these comment sections of people in the world, and imagine being exposed to that every single day. So we have to educate people before they get into low moods, before they get into depression, what it takes to get there and how to avoid it. It always gets back to like trying to understand what life is all about in the first place, and it's just very frustrating that we don't have the answer to that. Very frustrating. And because I'm not at the top of the chain of control of this world, I actually don't really know what's really going on. I don't have enough research or knowledge to understand all things, and I'm not in access to people who understand things either. Like, so are we missing some education here? The radio signals that we send out, is there a group of people who have researched that, and they're like, actually guys, this is quite unhealthy for the body. It makes the body like not be in contact with other things, and if we stopped using this radio wave, the humans will thrive a bit more. And then that government over there, they're like, well, we don't care about that, what we want is this. And I don't have the big eyes to see what's going on and why we're not thriving, or why the human race is not thriving. But I bet you there's answers, and I bet you that there's ways to fix all of these problems, but I'm not in power to understand it all. If you remove that from the supermarket, the humans will thrive. If you stop putting that into the water and that into the and then that government here is saying, no, well, we need that because that's the easiest way to do this and that. So these decisions that are being made are making the humans not have access to who they really are. And is that what the problem is? But why don't God or angels or whatever like intervene? Why don't they tell me that in the dream? But instead my brain is just... And I know somebody will say that this is them telling me, like I'm sitting here and they're not saying these things. Where do you think it's coming from? But that's not very clear to me. And is it not very clear to me because of the pollution in the air caused by the decisions of other people, that we've polluted the earth and all of its energies? So then my brain is not very clear, and I'm confused, and therefore I want to die. But I was born with the biggest fear of discomfort, so what a massive obstacle to die. And I'm accidentally staying alive because I'm too scared to die. I'm not scared of dying, I'm scared of the process of it. Because if I could just snap my fingers, boy would I have done that already a long time ago. But the process is so arduous, it's so difficult, that I'm here like stuck on this earth trying to figure it out, and slowly but surely I'm figuring it out. Da da da! It's the government, guys, it's the government. They're making bad decisions and the humans are not thriving, and now everybody wants to die. So that was my conclusion. Let's change the world. My quote for you today, people: suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. See, my argument is, right, my problem is definitely not temporary. Some people's problems are definitely not temporary. So it's not always temporary. And also, even if it is temporary, which lucky you if it is temporary, it doesn't feel temporary. Doesn't feel it at all. It feels like a long extension of life and time. And if you don't have the right people around you to tell you that, to tell you how temporary things are and how to like help yourself and how to get yourself out of these situations, then you're gonna feel like it's not temporary. So we don't even have support to support people out of these temporary problems, even though my temporary problem has been 15 years and counting. Where's God? Where's the peace? Who's in control of the narrative? Because we're all pretending that nobody's in control of it. Religious people say God is in control of it. Rich people know that they're in control of it, or the government's in control of it. And then everybody in between, they just don't even think about it. Anyways, times are changing, guys. We know this. You're very much aware that this life is like, it has to change. So we're going to do that. I think we all belong in an environment where we thrive, where we feel wanted and we feel excited to be alive. I remember when I was 17, I used to be so excited to wake up. I had this like feeling in my chest of like, I'm awake. And it's like, I'm gonna go to work, and then after work I'm gonna do this and do that, and then I'm gonna do this, and then on the Saturday I'm gonna go and buy that dress, and then on Sunday I'm gonna do this. Like everything was an excitement, like everything. And if something happened that was bad, it would be like a quick thing of like, oh, go away. Like I'm having the time of my life here, like go away. And now I can't remember the last time. Actually, I do remember the last time I felt like that is when I passed my driving test and when I got a first in university. I was so excited to wake up. I was like, I got a first. I was like, I passed my driving test. And that's how we should all wake up all the time. Excited to be alive, excited to be here and experience life. And instead, what do we wake up to, guys? We wake up to dread. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, lucky you. Thank God you are alive. Otherwise, this would be even more depressing earth. But if you know, you know. You wake up with dread. You wake up with a headache. You wake up with tears. You wake up hungry. You wake up not good. Not good. And that absolutely has to change. And the good news and the weirdness is that it absolutely can change. There's a way we could change it. It's all there. All the maths is there. Let's do this and this and this, and that's gonna happen, that's gonna happen. All of it is there. The problem is that the people in charge, they're not prioritizing that. They're not thinking that way because they're thinking selfishly and not a collective thing. So that's what is wrong, is that we're being led by the people who are not fit to lead. And actually, let me not say that. Let me just be thankful that we've gotten this far. My toilet flushes, I have a Tesco down the road. Amazing, right? We've come this far, but now the leadership has to change because now we have to make it even more better so people don't wake up in dread and they don't want to commit suicide. Let's do that instead. Okay, thank you for listening to me talk. It's been a very hard week and I hope it just gets better. And if it doesn't get better, I hope that I can just remember all these things that I said today and not get lost in my sadness, or in my confusion, because now it's not even sadness anymore. It's actually pain in my brain of being confused. The sadness has now subsided and now it's a breakdown. Anyways, I will see you next time. I don't know when I'll be back because if I get a job, I don't know how this is gonna work anymore. But I'll be back for sure. And if you're suffering out there, let's get together. Let's build a community. Yeah. Let's love each other. Let's be like really kind and nice to each other. Let's stroke each other's hair. What? Actually, let's not do that. I don't want people touching my hair unless it's a sexual thing. No, actually, I don't know. I don't mind sexual people touching my hair, right? Let's be nice to each other. I'm willing to do that. I want to do that. I want to be nice to you. And I hope that people want to be nice. So let's just do that. Okay, until next time, goodbye.